from the cafe.
Okay, we are back. I had to do a kind of workaround, people. Apologize for sure. I was having difficulties. I had to start a whole new stream altogether. And this is just going to show up live. And let me jump back, Shawn, to this thing real quick here. And bring you back on. But again, I apologize to everybody that just coming on and seeing the technical difficulties I had. I was pushing my system there to the max, and so it crashed on me. So again, this broadcast here is unscheduled, but it is live. Let me make sure it's live, going live. Should be. But again, I appreciate everybody, kind of sticking with me and sticking through this. Hopefully, like I said, I am live. It did not create an event. All right. We're going to roll through this. All right. At least I got a recording of this, though. All right. Let's start again. I can take off restream because I'm not doing it through restream. Now, without any further ado, man, like I said, we'll have to record this. Okay. All right. Without any further ado here, I'm going to reread my next guest bio because he deserves it, and may have to bring him back on because this was not a good start here. So, but again, like I said, I appreciate everybody sticking with me, and how I always say it, what happens live, you just got to roll with it and kind of pick up from it. So that's what I'm going to do. We're going to have a great show. Again, my next guest is an Indiana-based screenwriter, film producer, and composer known for his contributions to the entertainment industry. He gained recognition with his screenplay Goons for Hire, The Rise of Norm, which was nominated at the Peachtree International Film Festival in Atlanta. The story centers around a college freshman who, in an alternate futuristic universe, attends a career day aiming to help his family out of debt and ends up encountering a criminal organization. In the 2024, he partnered with Belize Global Media, BGM, to distribute his curated content worldwide. As part of this collaboration, he contributes to BGM's weekly new television show airing nationwide in Belize and participates in the Belize International Film Festival and Series Fest industry panel. He is also the founder of the nonprofit organization Heartsminds, which is dedicated to empowering young creatives. In August 2024, he signed with One More Management, OM2, a Los Angeles-based literary management firm, to further his career in writing, directing, and producing. His filmography includes roles in Follow the Breadcrumbs 2023 and participation in the podcast series Film Talk with AJ Dean 2022. His work is characterized by his passion for cultural and social activism, aiming to create powerful narratives that inspire and connect people across different cultures. Everybody, please help me welcome my very special guest and friend and patient one, Mr. Shawn Landrum. Man. Shawn, I'm definitely gonna have to bring you back on for a more better live experience for sure. Definitely, I appreciate again you sticking with me and hanging through all these technical difficulties. You, the viewers, you know, I always support you. I always thank you, my viewers, for hanging with me through all my technical difficulties and little faux pas and everything. Like I said, even after 5 seasons, it's something you still deal with and something you get through. So thank you, Shawn, for coming on. Like I said, I was super looking forward to this. And I'm kind of getting lost in the months, but realized this was the 1st of February, and I'm like, oh, okay, this Black History Month kicks off this month, so it definitely is, like I said, right on time. And I can't thank you enough for coming by and sharing your skills and your talents and what you're doing with film in regards to social activism and in regards to more telling more diverse stories.
No doubt, no doubt. Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate the introduction. Means a
No,
lot.
no, no, no doubt. Well, I always like to ask and start. What was it that kind of got that bug for you in film and storytelling and just this was something that I wanted to do or felt like this was a thing that I really wanted to get involved in.
I got you. Yeah, yeah. So for me, man, it's kind of been my whole life. I was that kid, 5 days a week in the movie theater, hopping from movie to movie. You know what I mean? So I've kind of always had that innate bug to create. So
Yeah.
it's kind of always been there. I'd say.
Yeah. Well, were there other things? I mean, did you see other, I guess, outlets other than film, creative wise, that you thought, well, maybe I could go into, whether it be painting or just like I said, outside of film. When did you get into thinking like writing and then producing, kind of thing? What was that thing that kind of moved you from that to the next thing to the next thing?
Oh man, God, family for sure, man. So back in the day, I was a branch manager for One Main Financial. So it was a really cool gig, man, and it was a growth opportunity. But at the same time, man, I started going through some medical problems, right? And I had a full-time janitorial company, so stuff was going good, man. It was going really good, good enough not to get into the creative space, right? So um, started having some medical issues, had some outpatient surgeries, and just a crazy year of it, man. So from there, I actually had to take a step back. You know what I mean? I left the company. I
Yeah,
sold my business, and that at that point, when I'm there thinking about like what's the next move, it's just like I don't know. I can't explain it other than God, bro. Because I had the idea. I was like, let me write the script,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And I wrote the script and with no nothing, you know what I mean? And once I wrote it, 5 days later, I sold it for $2,500. So
okay.
it's like, yeah, yeah, okay, I got some groove, I got some,
You say,
you
oh,
know what
okay,
I
I can
mean?
make
I
some
can
money
do
doing
this.
this.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so from there, man, it was just like, from there till where I'm at now. You know what I mean? It's been a roller coaster. Just I broke into the industry, writing, perfecting other people's scripts,
Yeah,
and ghost writing, and just kind of got my foot in the door, man, and met some incredible people, and here we are today.
yeah, yeah. So pretty much most of your skill and talent is pretty much self-taught, or where did you go to school, or did you go to school for writing or take any classes for writing or producing or directing or anything like that, or is it pretty much all been for the most part self-taught and just the people that you built relationships with and connected with?
Yeah, self-taught. I've learned a lot. Excuse me. I learned a lot in the industry through working on film sets and writing for movies that have gone on to do a lot of things, man.
Yeah.
And yeah, just being around that atmosphere and being able to take it all in, and I'm kind of like a fly on the wall, bro. I'm listening to everything, in every conversation. So,
Yeah.
it just all really worked out, man. And I don't want to sound like it was just like overnight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it
This
never
is
is.
7 years. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
It's never a straight process there. But what were the? Because we're going to take a look at the documentary you worked on. But what were the kind of you know films and stories that you kind of enjoyed watching? As you grew up and kind of that influenced you.
Man, I'd say, bro, every hood movie, you know what I mean, that's ever come out, you know what I mean, and hey, I watch them all 24/7. So from there, bro, I also had a deep love for comedy. So like Adam Sandler stuff,
Yeah,
so I go that route too. You know what I mean? Like I can't think of the film right now, but yeah, there's a ton of them out there, a ton of comedies. So, I love to laugh. I go to comedy shows every week. I'm actually filming a comedy show we're putting together, producing. That's going to be March 16th here in Indianapolis. That's going to be a live recording. It's
yeah,
once that's finished, that's going to get packaged up and go out to four different countries in the streamings.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, man, just exciting stuff, bro. Yeah,
Nice,
yeah.
nice,
So, love the comedy, love the action.
nice, nice. Um, how do you see the industry kind of there, the film industry there? I know, and it was funny because I was just talking to a friend of mine earlier today, and he was talking about Mo on Netflix, which I haven't seen yet or anything like that, but it's filmed here in Houston, and I know Houston is really trying to bring the film industry here and really get more production work here and that type of work here. How have you found it there in Indianapolis? And has the time that we're living in now, the fact that you can work with people kind of remotely in a sense, even though I think filmmaking is a more obviously in person type of thing, but just in connecting with people, to get things done. How have you found it?
How have I found connecting with people?
Well, how have you
I'm
found the
very
industry? Well, first, how have you found the industry there in the film industry there in Indiana?
okay. Yeah, it's kind of non-existent. You know what I mean? So, during COVID, actually, shout out to New Hollywood. They're about 5,000 creative strong right now. Throughout the industry. And I met a lot of connections on there. So definitely being able to do things like Clubhouse and things like that were beneficial for someone in the Midwest. Now I am, even though I'm in Indiana, I'm close to Chicago, Atlanta,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
we have options to make stuff, but nothing here home. So that's actually something else I'm doing. Through Hearts and Minds. We're actually creating a six soundstage studio here in Indiana. I got some wonderful people working on that for me, man, and it always takes a team, right?
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, we got grants coming through, and it's looking great. So once that's up and running, we're gonna be connecting to the high schools and the middle schools and the colleges
yeah,
to help people get on board, man, and create and get their names and stuff and get paid for their work.
yeah,
And I want kids to be able to come out of high school with 5, 6 credits
yeah,
already on their thing, man, on their
yeah.
slate, because the experience is what matters.
Yeah, yeah, and we're gonna dive. And I want to dive a little deeper into your organization, Hearts and Minds, and what you're doing in a minute there, Miss Maggie. Appreciate you as always supporting and stopping by there. We had I always have to preface this, but we did have a little technical difficulty in this stream here. Is a little different because I had to restart a whole new stream, which entails me just starting a straight live stream as opposed to scheduling. And so an event will be created, so it'll just show up on the streams that I'm streaming through. I'm doing it straight through the software. So, again, I appreciate, as always, my supporters always supporting my little faux pas and technical difficulties that I sometimes have, and definitely appreciate Shawn for hanging in there with me. There was a real touch and go there at the
I know how it
beginning.
goes, bro.
Mr. DeMille, appreciate you. Happy Saturday to you there, brother. Appreciate you stopping by as always. I know Shawn does as well. Um, with your organization, because it is helping like the youth kind of get kind of expose them to the creative arts, I guess, and specifically film. What have you found, um, or what have you learned so far, in building the organization and interacting with the youth, as far as the type of views that are coming in, the type of stories that they're wanting to tell, and things that are important to them. What are you seeing?
Man, it's nothing but excitement, bro. It's so many little creatives out there that people. Hey, the thing people don't understand, man, is there's a million jobs in the film industry. You know what I mean? When you
Yeah,
go to a movie and you see the credits, there's
yeah,
hundreds of names there,
yeah,
and like I said, we just don't have access to venture into those fields, right?
yeah.
So that's what I'm looking to do here. But yeah, nothing but excitement, bro, and I've been loving every bit of it.
Yeah, yeah. Now, I always say this all the time, and hopefully, like I said, this is a point that you're helping to bring home to them as well. That, like you just said, if you look at the end credits, there's so many small pieces that go into the making of it, and you can even get, like I said, granular to the point to where craft services is very integral. The people that feed those people are very integral. So that lets you know that there are just so many things. You don't necessarily have to be a screenwriter. You don't necessarily have to be a producer. You don't necessarily have to be an actor or whatever. If to be in the industry is what I'm saying. There are so many different avenues to be. Maybe you're a people person. Maybe the agent is the best thing for you. Who knows? Type of thing. But like you said, just giving the youth and exposing the youth to all those different opportunities is what really counts. And I know for me, just going through school, and it would have been a big boon to just be able to expose. And that's my goal, for doing the show, is to expose younger people that all the options that are out there in this industry as well. What are they? Well, let me ask you this: as a creator and a content creator, what do you think of this time that we live in now, and the ability to get your idea or your story out there in a much quicker and more direct way? What do you think of this time as a content creator?
Oh man, it's so exciting. There's so many different ways to make films and get into the industry right now. It's the industry, the landscape is changing. So it's time for new creatives to come in and make some noise, man. So yeah.
Well, do you feel like it's going to come from uh, the indie creators, the indie filmmakers, and what are your thoughts on kind of the stuff that you're seeing now coming out from you know studios and being distributed and produced?
Yeah. So I mean, there's so many different avenues and so many different streaming platforms to get your stuff out on that it's kind of ideal right now. From what I've seen, from the movies I've seen and the animations, like things are stepping up. You know, everybody's stepping their level up. It was at one point you could, go on to a show and see somebody taped on their iPhone. You know, it may not be the best quality, right? But you can do it.
Nowadays,
You know
it's
what I mean?
almost as good a
It's a start.
quality.
You get the right equipment on there. It's
Man.
A1. So
Well,
yeah,
and that's, but see, I think that's kind of the beauty of this time, really, because heck, pretty much a lot of these iPhones, they're 4K, which is more than enough for, like I said, really good quality. I mean, it's not 8K, but it's 4K film. So if you really wanted to make a good quality, and I've seen some good quality just iPhone, productions and stuff, I guess you could do it. But that's what I mean as far as we got all this equipment now. We got all this, we got all these distribution channels to where, like you said, you don't necessarily have to, I guess, go the distribution route. The traditional distribution route, if you don't want to, and still reach a worldwide audience, albeit it's a lot of work doing it online and building an audience that way. But when you think about it, you have access to, like I said, a worldwide audience. And can
absolutely,
like I said, make more than enough. You could ask Mr. Beast, make more than enough, more than enough,
no doubt.
to money from just being online and things like that. Again, everybody just jumping in. We're having a great conversation with producer, director, screenwriter, Shawn Landrum. Albeit after some, a little shaky start here, but we're going to get ready to take a quick look at his documentary, which again, like I said, with this being the kickoff of Black History Month, is really appropriate and stuff. So I do want to dive into kind of your methodology for storytelling and kind of how you put a story together, because it isn't an easy thing, especially in a documentary, especially with a documentary that's got a lot of information, to condense it down into something that's, really bite-sized, and, good timing there for sure.
Yeah.
So let me throw this comment up here before we take a look at some of Shawn's work here. Good day, Brandon, to you. Wanted to ask Mr. Shawn a question. Good. Relating to technology, is there a chance for AI, which we are going to talk about after we take a look, because you can't escape a conversation without that. Is there a chance for AI to ruin the film industry in terms of script writing? If yes, how do you feel about that? And I guess that is a good question as far as, do you leverage that? But before we dive into that, before we dig into that answer and everything, I want to, like I said, let's take a quick look, and I'll pull this back up after we come back. After we come back from taking a look at Shawn's documentary. Let's hope we don't have any serious technical difficulties. Okay.
We took the labor of African Americans in this country, just stole it for hundreds of years.
In 1863, the Negro was freed from the bondage of physical slavery.
But that's the beginning of distinctive racial patterns of wealth in the United States.
Those consequences stare us in the face every day.
You often hear the harm was too long ago.
I don't think reparations for something that happened 150 years ago is a good idea.
It's too expensive.
Whether it's feasible or not is the question.
And too difficult to do.
I don't think we can come up with this ultimate plan to save the black race in America.
You have to know that this country was built on the backs of black people.
But the problem is that it's not just economic wealth.
The kinds of deprivations people encounter are a consequence of structural factors.
The white people in this country who have benefited tremendously from not just slavery,
Jim Crow era redlining, over-policing, the war on drugs, mass incarceration, police violence.
You have all of these things that was systemically done to black people. It's because of that.
Given this roughly 10-to-1 wealth and income disparity, how do we address that head on?
We have to be bold in taking action.
Now is the time. Now is the time for us to demand equity and policies that will close the racial wealth gap.
Until those two numbers are equalized, we need to do something.
The fight is on now.
What do we want? Win!
You always told me it takes time. It's taken my father's time, my mother's time. How much time do you want for your progress?
Like I said, such a powerful documentary. Let me jump back over this scene here. I want to try this scene. I want to be over this scene. All right. Like I said, I wanted to dive into kind of your process of storytelling. One, before we dive into that, and I'm going to pull Brandon. Brandon, I'm going to pull your comment back up because I do want to dive into AI. Like I said, that's a topic we definitely can't skip over because it is impacting all kinds of every industry in some form or fashion, for sure, especially the creative space. But one, what was kind of your seed for doing that documentary? The reasoning, I guess, I don't know. Was it a personal passion project for you, or was it a job project, a client project, putting it together? What was that thing that kind of kicked it for you to put that together?
Bro, it's heart and mind. You know what I mean? That's the best way to describe it. I've lived it, right? And I mentioned to you this before we came on. My grandmother just passed away a couple of years ago. And she went through her whole lifetime, and her parents went through their whole lifetime. You know what I mean? And then before them, we're getting out of slavery. So it's like, it's something that needs to be corrected, bro. It's really time, man. I honestly I feel like I I'm pushing for it, bro, but I don't think we're gonna see it in my lifetime. So now I'm pushing for my kids' lifetime, or their kids' lifetime. You feel me? So it's really a passion project, man. It's from the heart. It's like I said, got a lot of great people involved in it, man, and we're just really bringing it together. So after the passing of my grandmother, it's just like, gosh, wow. Wow, time flies.
Yeah, and so many stories to tell within that. Like I said, I think about just my mother, let alone my grandmother, all the stories and things that have shaped their lives and everything. That's why I say such a powerful and like Demille said, timely documentary there. What do you think you pulled from the whole process of doing it and making the documentary? Kind of one little nugget or thing that kind of, wow, as you came out of doing it, just kind of stuck with you?
Man, I'd say just the focus and the determination to push. When you're making movies, you gotta find investors. You gotta get A, B, C through Z together. So it takes a lot. And like I said, it takes a village.
Yeah.
So just doing the process, being able to streamline it, get the trailers out, get investors involved. Like it's making a film is a full business. So just always sharpening your toolbox is always a good thing.
Well, I'm curious, how have you found it? Like just doing it, because it's hard enough getting funding and getting a film out with just directors out there, but then as an indie creator, and then obviously, like I said, some studios are going to be more conscious of what they're trying to put out, as far as they want to go the safe route of something, I don't know, fantastical or this and that, and for a documentary or something that's really gonna that's hitting a very specific thing, getting mass distribution. Has that been a challenge, and have you kind of dealt with any kind of flashback or feedback or kind of drudgery getting through, just getting it out there and getting it into the mass audience?
No, man, no. It's for me now. It's so easy to get it to the mass audience because I have a distribution company. By the way, we are doing a film festival, and submissions are on Film Freeway.
They're
Please go there,
in-person
submit your
film
films.
festival. In-person
In-person film festival
in Indiana.
Yes, sir. We're gonna
Okay.
in Indiana. We've already got submissions from all around the world, man. Like so many different countries.
Yeah.
If you are submitting from a different country, just have it English dubbed or
Yeah.
the dialogue at the bottom. But yeah, man, the love has been great, and the quality in films and is wonderful, and I just can't thank everybody enough for the support, man,
Yeah.
and really putting that trust and faith in me. So we're gonna make some movies go worldwide here with this.
Yeah. I mean, and I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on just film as a medium for storytelling. Like you said, we're starting to see so many different types of things, whether it's animation, different styles of animation, artwork, and we have, we can toot our own horns as African Americans. We have such a great flavor of the way we do things, and our rich history there. How do you see kind of the industry, moving forward, and especially in, like I said, this new year that we're in? I think people are kind of, tired of the regurgitation of some kind of stories and films and things like that. How do you see the industry and especially in the animation inside of it? It's been hit pretty, rough. It's been going through its, challenges, at least for a lot of workers and things like that. How do you see kind of the industry moving forward? And we're going to kind of tie that in with Brandon's question about AI, and how do you see the place of AI moving forward within the industry?
Okay, all right. Which one you want me to tackle first?
Well, first, how do you see the industry, just moving forward? The types of stories. Do you see, like I said, this more rise of smaller studios, smaller independent creators? Or do you see, like I said, bigger studios will take the chance on more creative stories and things like that?
Yeah. So the biggest change that I've seen is the investors, right? There's so many different investors that are looking for passion projects, or I know, look, I probably got three or four investors that are dentists, you know what I
Oh,
mean, and
wow.
just sitting at home, nothing to do, yeah, extra cash. So it works out. So I'd say the big thing, especially anybody trying to get into the industry, is be creative with
Mhm.
your funding, be creative with your financing, and your investors.
Yeah.
Don't shy away from people just because you think one way or the other. Just
Yeah.
dig in, man. And if the right people are gonna bite on your project,
Yeah.
the right conditions will work themselves out. You just gotta keep the faith, man. Make sure your stuff's airtight. So when the opportunity does arise, everything's in place. I got A
Yeah.
through Z here to you. This is the budget. This is what we're paying. This is where we want to shoot it. This is the discount for the area that we're shooting it in. This is why we're shooting it here. This is the talent we already got signed. So, having all those ducks in a row is major.
Yeah.
Especially, yeah. So, like, I got a film right now that I'm writing this screenplay for. This going to Lionsgate. They already got interested in
Okay.
it, and it's a true story. Pretty cool. It's about a hijacking. So, really excited about that.
Yeah.
But again, just having that faith in yourself, man, and knowing that what's in your heart is in your heart. It's God given. Your talent's God given, and the path you're supposed to be on. So
Yeah.
whether it's
Yeah.
film, crafting, making candles, whatever, just have that heart and push forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, Definitely. Like I said, we can talk more after the show is over. But definitely, there's a couple of people that I need to connect you with that I'm connected with. And I don't know if you are familiar, but he was a guest last year, and I have we have connected and doing a partnership. And he started the film festival. He's an indie filmmaker as well, but he does sci-fi and horror. And he started the sci-fi horror film festival out in Vegas. And so I live stream. Last year was my first year. We started a partnership where I live streamed my show from his event. And so last year was the first year, but just supporting. So definitely, we need to talk and stuff because I'm a big proponent of the indie creator. I'm a creator, mostly independent creator as well. And so any way that, I can help to get the independent creator out there and what they're doing is top with me. We're going to dive into Brandon's question because I want to know what, like I said, obviously, again, AI is touching a lot of spaces, especially in the creative space now. You got non-screenwriters are saying they can be screenwriters by just, typing a prompt in the chat GPT, and now they're screenwriters. So what is your thought? And I'm not, let's just, oh man. Hopefully, there he goes. Shawn,
sorry about that.
I want to know what your thoughts are on, AI, what you feel the impact is on the industry, because really now you do have a lot of people that are walking in the studios or walking into big studios trying to pitch something that they did try and, do on Chat GPT as opposed to that. So I really want to know what your thoughts on AI and how it's going to impact kind of your space and what you're doing.
Man, as far as writing and the scripts stuff's concerned, I'm not really worried about it. I've like, I've had script writers experience with what is it called? Chat GPT.
GPT,
Yeah,
GPT, yeah.
GPT. So yeah. So the thing is, man, is that I've even been on there just to see what it looks like and like what are they gonna what is it gonna do, man? And I gotta tell you, like, yeah, it's there. It can create a story, and you can have people that's going in there saying, "Look, I got this," but it's just not there, bro. It's not. It can create something, but it's not gonna. It, it's not to the par where it's going to take anybody out the script game.
Yeah, yeah. I
If
don't
you want
think
to
so
make
either.
some bogus type films, then yeah, it's
Yeah.
but the serious stuff that's coming from the heart, man, and
Yeah.
even with the scene structures and stuff, it's just you need that real person. You
Yeah.
need those real experiences. You need that real heart. So, like I haven't had any problems out of it, and I don't suspect it would come to that level of it can create a story, but is it good? Is it heartfelt? Is it something that you can watch 10 times in a row,
Yeah.
or is it something that's just highlighted for somebody?
Well, I mean, I agree with you. I don't think it'll ever replace the human experience or can ever, touch the human experience. Now, like you said, if you're a script writer and you write a script, I think it's, it's maybe good to check grammatically or, just to kind of run through it to say, hey, read it, check the script that I wrote and kind of give me your thoughts on, using it as kind of a assistant or another person to read it to see what it says about it, type of thing. But you're using it as an editing, kind of editing thing that you've written.
Exactly.
Oh man,
and like I said, it's just not to that level, man. So yeah, I'm not worried about it.
I don't think so either. But it is. I am finding it interesting though. Just I guess some of the ways of film production that it could be used in. And I wanted to ask you, as a, not that you probably, I don't know, do a lot of kind of CG or that type of filmmaking where you're going to be inputting or merging visual effects and type of things like that. But what are your kind of thoughts on the types of stories that you do want to tell, and are maybe those kind of stories that you do want to tell, and seeing that some filmmakers are using like real-time production in their production work of the films and stuff. Is that something that you thought about? Are those type of films the type of films that you think you would enjoy doing, like more fantasy, sci-fi, something that's kind of not just straight documentary or straight live action type?
Yeah, man, for sure. Yeah, you gotta use what's available to you to create. So, I mean, if you have those capabilities, why not use them to help enhance a story, especially for indie people making indie films. What was the other question? I'm sorry.
Are those I forgot. But we'll move on.
I forgot too. I think we covered the bases.
Yeah, well, with the youth that you're talking to in Hearts and Minds, what are some of the stories that you've seen that they've wanted to tell, or just kind of some of the things that they're kind of excited about putting out there?
So yeah, right now what I'm doing, man, is on my own productions. As they come out, I introduce not just students, but man, there's everybody throughout the spectrum, bro.
Yeah.
There's 40, 50, 80-year-old people that still have that heart, that drum in their beat, bro. So,
Yeah.
it's about being able to give opportunity when possible.
Yeah.
I'm working with big names, and I get the opportunity to bring people on, whether we need somebody for directing or acting, or even someone just to be in the background.
Yeah.
Just bringing them on board, man, getting those credits up is key.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we focus on with them. I got some stuff coming up with Nickelodeon. We're doing some stuff. So yeah, just plugging them in, man. Like if it's an opportunity,
well,
why
do you
not?
find it hard getting in the room with some of these studios or some of these companies? I mean, or did it take you a minute to kind of get yourself to that position where, okay, you do have the connections that you can get into, like I said, talk with Nickelodeon and talk with other, bigger studios and things like that?
Man, yeah, like I said, it's not something that just comes along or is easy. You got to really put work into it. Like I said, how I broke into the business and how I started getting the connections I made was I still remember the first couple of scripts that I enhanced. I call them sweetening the scripts.
Yeah.
And it's like the first dude I came to, I was like, hey man, I know you done 20 films and you're real known, and through conversation,
Yeah.
I know he's got something going on. Let me tighten it up. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, no money, no loss. But if it is,
Yeah.
run me my bread, and you know what I mean. So by that, bro, it's like it gave me a chance. So I killed it. Ran me my bread, and then that person talks to the next person, and they call me up. Hey, I got another project. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, send me the details.
Yeah.
Then you build those relationships, man, and then those relationships turn into other relationships, and then through the community you already have, it just it makes those doors not so
Not so
locked.
stuck. Yeah, not so locked and
Not so
stuck.
stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I've learned through this, one, doing the show, and two, the friends that I have made, is it is really a relationship based, and it really is all about relationships and the relationships you make with people, how projects get done, how you get recommended for work or brought on for work and stuff like that. It's the relationships that you make within the industry, and being good at that is definitely something that, like I said, if schools aren't teaching it, they need to be teaching it, and really kind of driving home the point that if it is about relationships. Mr. Brandon, I feel like ChatGPT is going to be a real issue because that's going to be the competition to writers. Is there any method of rebelling against it or reducing its impact on replacing creatives' law? Well, like I said, I think we made home the point. I don't think it's going to replace ChatGPT, and AI isn't just not going to replace people. I mean, there are some positions that it can obviously, be redundant, but as far as creatives, it's not going to replace creatives because it can't take the place of a true creative. Now, like I said, for the non-creative, you can use it to help get you to a certain point. But again, it doesn't teach you the principles of filmmaking. It doesn't teach you the principles of design or the principles of the arc of the story or how to make something relatable. That's stuff that you have to learn and a skill that you have to learn. And ChatGPT is just not going to replace that. So, but learn, I say, because it isn't going away, learn how to use it to enhance what you're already creating yourself. That's how I see it.
ChatGPT is not gonna. Yeah, it's not gonna It's not gonna create a compelling story like that. You know what I mean? Like
No.
even if you were to use
People
it,
have
you gotta
tried
craft
now.
and craft and craft. Yeah, and you see it. The stuff's been made, and you
Yeah.
see it on the TV. Like
Yeah.
what the
I
fuck?
think
Excuse my language.
Whatchacom got serious backlash from their Christmas Coca-Cola commercial. Coca-Cola, they did a AI generated Christmas commercial of the bears. The Coca-Cola bears. Yeah, but they did an AI version of it, and it was garbage. And so they just got trashed. They just got trashed on it. So that's what I mean. It's not going to take the place of that human experience, and that human emotion that human creators put into something. So that's what I mean.
Absolutely. And then on top of that, man, if people do that's on here, if you're script writers, you're looking for a program to help make sure everything's nice and tight with your script, download Final Draft. That's the first one I lucked into, and it really helps you format the script right. It reads it back to you. A lot of cool options there. So
there's a lot of
definitely
tools.
a good app.
And which is why I say this is such a great time, because there are a lot of great tools out there that will, like I said, get you a good portion of the way there. It's just you got to sit down and put in, the time and effort and the creative thought behind it. But, such a great time. And you were mentioning about a minute ago, funding and getting just, distribution and things like that. Like I said, this time that we live in, you got an online distribution channel. If you really want to go the funding route, you have things like Kickstarter or GoFundMe. There's a lot of projects that have just gotten straight funded from that. People supporting, what you're doing. That's the whole thing about even going to a studio to pitch somebody to support you in what you're trying to do. And if you can go directly to your audience and supporters, and they, you give them perks and make sure and make them a part of the production or the project, they're going to support you. And that's, like I said, how a lot of projects have gotten out there. So, like I said, it's such a great time. You know, we're kind of about the same age. You got some gray hairs. I got some gray hair. So we kind of around the same age. Like I said, it's such a great time. You know, I remember before all of these things that we have now. And that's why I say, as a content creator, it is a great time, I think, to be a content creator, even with the advent of AI and just that whole hysteria with that. What's been, we were talking about your mother, your grandmother, and stuff. What's been doesn't necessarily have to be from them, but what's been the best piece of advice that's kind of helped guide you and serve you along this path, that you're going on?
Man, I'd probably kind of go back to something my grandmother told me through life, man. Is let them know you're not playing around. Let them know you're not messing around. Right. So I kind of take that, as I go forward into my different ventures, and when I'm in the room with investors, I make sure everything's airtight, man. I'm not here to joke around. I'm not wasting your time. I'm not gonna come back and say, "Oh, I think the budget is this," and I don't
Yeah.
really know. Like everything's airtight, man, and that's just the start. You got to have good material too. So really diving in, bro. Like I'd say even with Goons for Hire, for example, I've been working on that for 7 years.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's won hundreds of film festivals, in Japan and everywhere else, and we're just getting the backing now from investors to
Yeah.
get that made this year, and it's going to be big.
Yeah.
All right, so but again, just having that foresight to know you have something that's worth telling.
Yeah.
You got a story that's worth telling. Make it airtight, man. And never stop perfecting it. Like I said, it's 7 years. If I came to the studio with the script that I had 7 years ago, be like, what?
Yeah, you might need to
Yeah.
do a couple of
So
redrafts of that.
yeah. So your story expands over the years.
Yeah.
With me personally, I watch animation all the time. Like, I'll go on to Netflix
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Hulu and just rock out on animations all day because, I'm the type of dude that I want to know every power that's out,
Yeah.
every new thing. So, and that's all to keep my stuff, uh, 10 steps ahead,
Yeah.
right? And what I mean by giving them a script 7 years ago, I'll see different aspects that I got in my script and new stuff coming out. So, oh, they beat me to the punch on that. So I need to
Yeah.
go back, make it even better. And doing that over the years has created this monster script, man. That's gonna be told, man,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be like that. You know what I mean? But again, if I'm making an action film, I'm watching all action films.
Yeah.
I want to know what makes mine's different than everyone else's,
Yeah.
and then I need to go back to the drawing board a couple more times with it. So yeah, just having that heart and that, this
I
is it.
agree.
You know what I mean?
I think, like you just said, I think it all comes back to story, regardless of what medium you use, whether it's animation, live, or whatever. It has to have a strong story. You could have
has to.
Yeah, you could have the best special effects, as we've seen, best CG, but had the weakest story.
Weakest story. I walked out of so many movies.
And I think,
let
me ask you this too. Do you think films now are more reliant on that CG, those flashy type of things, or do you think they're just giving the audience what we just feel that that's what makes a kind of great movie, is just the visual effects, the flash and stuff like that, as opposed to a simple, kind of story that's told in a real good way. Do you think that studios are really, that's what they're more reliant on because they feel like that's what brings in the bucks, the money, those type of action, heavy CG type of movies? Or do you feel like it's us that's pushing. It's the market that's pushing studios to give us that, because that's the type of movies that we're saying we want to see.
So as far as the CG stuff, man, there's really good movies that utilize CG very smartly, and it's beautiful, and they have the story behind it. And there's other films that, I'm just gonna spend $10-20 million on CG and throw it in the movie theater.
Yeah.
And those are there too, and you see them. You'll see them. They're out there, right? But I think it's in the way that the director uses it. The producers and how they put it together. But the
Yeah.
basis is story. You got to have the story. You know what I mean? You got to have something that people are going to get behind. Say, aha, yeah, I relate to that, or I know somebody that relates to that, or without
Yeah.
that heart, you got a paperweight,
Yeah.
and it may be flashy, but it doesn't sustain time, right? So a year from now, nobody's thinking about it, nobody's even watching it, and you can see it for free, and nobody cares, or they might watch it to go to sleep. I watch movies all the time
Yeah, I
to
do
go to
too. I
sleep.
do too.
You know
I'll
what I
put
mean?
on a movie and
Yeah.
sleep through it too.
Oh yeah, especially ones I've seen 26 times.
Yeah, 2020.
I throw
You
that right
already
on.
know. Yeah.
hmm Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh man. Oh man. Again, everybody just jumping in. Like I said, tuning in. Jump into the comments. Hey, where you tuning in from? Of course, like I said, we're having a fun conversation with my man Shawn Landrum, director of distribution, screenwriter, film producer, talking all things film and creative in the industry. For you, what we seen your film your documentary reparations. What was kind of the biggest challenge putting that together for you? And do you feel like you kind of get maybe, I won't say flack or lack of respect for the fact that you didn't go to schooling for this or whatnot? Do you see any kind of like, well, you weren't, like when you're talking to them, are they more focused on just what the documentary or whatever it is your film you're showing them, or do you think that they think have that thought of, well, what kind of education or training do you have within this industry type of thing? Is that something that you has ever played in your mind when going into these kind of negotiation situations?
Oh man, that kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. Have your stuff airtight. Let them know you're not messing around, and when you're going into these meetings, know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? If my budget's $2 million, I can break it down on this one page, and then I got the other pages behind it, so I can show you the breakdown in detail. And if you're coming correct and you got your stuff together, they're not gonna have any choice but to respect it. And if they don't, then fuck them. It's not the person that you wanted to deal with anyway.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing I could say is no, I haven't had that come up, just because when you read my script, shit, it's what are you going to tell the difference on? It's A1. My scripts have been in tons of film festivals and put to the test and put to the fire. So, and some tokens, it's more than just going to school. The area that I grew up in this film industry is that, like, I gotta eat, I gotta feed the family, I gotta pay these bills. You know what I mean? So yes, so
really,
it's
truly,
a hunger with it. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, no, really, truly, the best, and I think most people would tell you, they get their best education in actually doing something. Actually, just hey, if you're a filmmaker, and I guess any filmmaker will tell you, man, just get out and make films. you'll make films and you'll
Get
be
out there
a
and do it.
filmmaker. Just get out and make films if you want to be a filmmaker. If you want to be a photographer,
Start out where you're at.
just get out and shoot pictures, and then you'll get better and make it from there. So I think it's all about that starting thing. And do you find that that's kind of a hang up or an excuse some people use that, well, I need to have this year or I need to be at this level before I can sit down and write a script, type of thing? Do you feel like, you come across and you're talking to people that they're not just going for it and they're kind of coming up with excuses as to why they just don't do it or just don't try and put it out there?
As far as people putting their work out there that they're trying to get done,
Yeah.
man, I talk to my friends all the time. Like any of my buddies, I got buddies that are trying to get into the industry, and you'll anytime I holler, I'm like, hey, where's the script at? How's it coming along? Is there anything I can do to help? Just being
Yeah.
of assistance for free, man. And
Yeah.
just being able to show that type of love, bro. It comes back tenfold to you, but also you helping putting somebody else uh, uh, 5 years ahead of where their schedule plan was, right?
Mm.
So yeah, just being of service, like that's if anybody watching can take anything from this, it's being of service, bro. Just letting people know you're there. What do you need? How can I help you?
Yeah.
Versus, hey, you got 10 million, so I can make this project. I don't know you, but I just saw you on LinkedIn, and I think I got something that you need to
Oh
put 5
man.
million into. It's like, come on, man. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
the thing. There's so, and I guess that's maybe, I don't know. I guess people that aren't in the industry and you're on the outside looking in, you think the industry is really the Hollywood, the movie industry, and we hear is all the negative stuff and things like that. But then you do, at least for me, because of the doing the show, I have come across, like I said, screenwriters and people that are, just doing the ground level work of getting their projects out there. They're not, like I said, in that big inner circle of Hollywood where they're trying to screw over the next person or take this person's money or that person's money. Do you feel like the film industry gets a bad rap? Probably worse than it is. Or would you say, yeah, there's a lot? I think there's a lot of stuff that is kind of shady about the film industry. Not to say that, it'll keep people away from them, but do you feel like, it does get a worse rap than what really is within the film industry, and what creatives, actors, film directors, that the average everyday people are really doing? Because there are people that are within the industry, but they're just working a job. That's their thing, type of thing.
Mhm. Okay, so what was the
Well, do you feel like
question?
I guess my question is, do you feel like the film industry has gotten a bad rap because of all the stuff and all the things that we've seen in the news or they've shown in the news as far as this misconduct, this studio and that studio, this executive, that executive type of thing?
Well, I haven't had that experience, and again, I just want to shout out Yvette Vargas, New Hollywood. You know, just having access to the people that you need to is big and pivotal in creating what you want to create, man. So I haven't had any of those experiences, so I wouldn't know how to speak to them. But
Yeah.
for me and what we're doing, and we got big projects. I got one I'm working on for $60 million, and we've already closed 22 million on it. So it's doable, bro. You gotta believe in yourself.
Yeah.
You gotta stay hungry. You gotta be up on what you need to be up on. Like I said, if I'm focused, if my focus is on comedy, I'm watching every kind of comedy out there. If my focus is on action, I'm watching every action scene. If I, like you gotta love what you're doing.
Yeah.
You don't want somebody writing a rom com that is a
It's
sci-fi
rom-com.
dude that has no interest in it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
I hate my wife.
just hey, that's good enough. I can write this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you
I hate
pull
that.
comedy and pay.
Hey,
Hey, life is that's what life is. That's what films are. It's life. So whatever that may be.
absolutely.
Oh man, like I said, everybody, it's like I said, like I was telling you, it goes by quick. We're already over an hour into this. As we bring this kind of train into the station here, I want you to kind of give maybe your parting thoughts to somebody that's wanting to get into doing what you do. Or is interested in doing, kind of what you're doing now, what would you tell them?
I'd say if you got a script, get it in the Landrum Visionaries. That's on Film Freeway. If you got something that you've already created, whether it be a short, feature, get it in the Landrum Visionaries on Film Freeway. I'm giving opportunities right now for distribution. I'm giving opportunities to even be signed as a writer, through One More Management. So those connections that I've taken 7 years to generate, I'm giving away to people. You know what I mean? Because that's where the growth comes in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
get all that in, and my advice, like I said, perfect it. Everybody needs a budget. Know how to make a budget. Why don't you know how to make a budget? You make films. Why don't you know what to pay your director? Right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you don't reach out to somebody asking for blind checks.
Yeah.
You gotta have your stuff in order.
Yeah.
That's the beginning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
And
you gotta
it
have
goes
that.
on
So
from there, like you said, having that stuff in order. Oh man.
yeah,
And you know how I always do, especially on information and nuggets like that. On the bomb that he just dropped there, have your ducks in a row. And I think, like I said, that's always kind of been, for better or for worse, obviously for worse. That's always been our bad rap, but for us, we never have our ducks in a row. And a lot of people will go and, like he said, ask for $5 million, and he said, "Well, what are you gonna do?" And they don't have a plan or anything like that. So have your ducks.
I got the synopsis.
Yeah, have your ducks in a row, and be confident about what you're, passionate and confident about what you're putting out there. For sure. Make sure, and all this stuff will be in the show notes. All this information, where you can upload your, and get plugged into the film festival that Shawn is doing, and all the other information will be in the show notes. So definitely make sure that you check out those after the episode. Also, connect with Shawn on some of his channels here. You can find him on Facebook, Shawn Landrum. Also, check out Instagram, Shawn Landrum Films. And the website, check out Heartsminds and what they're doing over there. Definitely, like I said, we always have to, support the creatives and the people that are really, doing big things in the industry, and really trying to serve the younger generation, especially the younger generation of color as well. Connect with him on LinkedIn, like I did. But you can find, like I said, all this stuff will be on the show notes on the channel. So definitely get plugged in. Shawn, I can't thank you enough, brother, for coming on again. We may have to, like I said, give you another episode there. We had way more technical difficulty. I think the plane kind of landed pretty good considering the technical difficulties we have. But I want to thank you for hanging in, with me and through the technical difficulties there, Shawn. I appreciate that. We're definitely gonna have to bring you back on the show for sure. And again, everybody, I appreciate you guys for, definitely hanging with me as well. Shawn, if you could hang out in the green room for a minute while I close out the show, so I can talk to you afterwards, I'd appreciate it. But
yeah, I'm gonna be moving around, but we can
okay.
we can definitely
but just hang out, like I said, after I close out here in a minute. But everybody, please again help me thank my very special guest and friend, filmmaker, director, Mr. Shawn Landrum, for stopping by and grace us with his presence. He will be back on the show again soon. So thank you, Shawn. Thank you, brother, for being on the show. Hang out for just a second while I close this mother out. Oh, man. Like I said, this, there's always going to be some during the season. I can almost always expect, something to go awry. That's, like I said, just the nature of live streaming. But I'm so glad I was able to, get back on track there. And I appreciate everybody that hung with me for sure. Miss Maggie, thank you. Brandon, DeMille, everybody that stopped by, I appreciate you as always for hanging in and sticking with me. Super excited about next week's guest. You definitely don't want to miss out for that. Miss Omotunde Akioda, animation. I know I hacked it up, and she'll come on and correct me next week, but that's something that you're definitely not going to want to miss out. She's worked on some amazing animation projects. Kunda Kids is one of them, so we're going to have a fun time and a fun conversation talking about all the animation work and stuff that she's doing as well, so you definitely don't want to miss out on that. All right. With that, like I said, thank you, everybody, for tuning in and being a part of the show and giving me a little bit of your time on this Saturday afternoon. I appreciate it so much. But make sure that you join us, like I said, next week, same bat time, same bat channel, everybody. Have a great week, everybody, and I will see you next week. Cheers.